Hello, my love! Good morning to you. It is nice to visit with you. I hope that this finds you well. I hope that you have stretched. I hope that you have had a sip of a liquid, of something to drink. I hope that your body is prepared for the day ahead of you. I am thinking about you as always. I hope that you are inspired today by something. A song, a scent, something you see, maybe something tactile you feel. But I hope that you are inspired today. I was thinking about looking at things differently. And by this I mean, when I was faced with a problem in my life, when there was something that I either didn't want to do or didn't know how to do or didn't know how to approach, I found it very helpful as a mental exercise or as a mental approach to think about how I could look at it differently. If you look at a problem differently, you might see solutions you were not expecting. It might turn the problem around so that it is not a problem at all. It might turn something that is unenjoyable into something that is completely enjoyable. But the trick is to look at it differently. And there are different ways to go about doing so. But one approach you could take is to sort of ask yourself, and this is something that Tim Ferriss would often mention, but what would this look like if it were easy? So if you're faced with a problem, ask yourself, what would this look like if it were easy? What I like to ask myself was often, what would this look like if it were fun? What would this project, what would this thing look like if it were actually enjoyable? How would it become enjoyable? Or another way to think about it is, what would this look like if I cared? If you're working on something and you don't care about it for some reason, what would it look like if you did care about it? What would it look like if you were invested? And then, of course, that may lead to some thoughts of why you are or are not invested and how you could be. Or perhaps maybe you shouldn't be on the project at all, whatever it may be. What would it look like if you didn't care? What if you're working on something and you're so caught up in it and thinking about the outcome or external perceptions? What would it look like if you didn't care? All of these ways, all of these sort of approaches or thought or mental exercises are ways to get you to think about looking at a problem differently, to sort of get your mind to grapple with a different way of approaching, a different way of looking at it, obviously. And I found those exercises extremely helpful. I found them most helpful when I was working on something I didn't want to work on, when I found resistance in myself towards something that I had to do. Obviously, it's useful in many different ways of just trying to solve problems, but in my life, my bigger issue was just not wanting to do certain things that I knew I had to do. So, take it for what it's worth, but think about how you can look at things differently. There was a TED Talk on, I believe the person titled it the Super Mario Effect, or it might have been the Mario Brothers Effect, both of which are excellent video games. Footnote, as you know. But I believe he was an educator, and he talked about, too, this idea. How can you approach something differently? Something that you view as an onerous task, if you flip it in your mind, could actually be viewed simply as a game. Something enjoyable. A task to strive to complete as compared to have to complete or onerous. And that's what I'm talking about here. Just changing your perception, because as a running theme, perception is so important. Food for thought. Take it for what it is worth. something I thought I would share, and I will recommend again the Goon Sax. I hope you find some time to listen to their work. And with that, I will bid you adieu.